Hey everybody. So it looks like Microsoft has quietly closed the door on the free upgrade path from Windows 7 to Windows 10, and also they have prevented the ability to activate Windows 10 and Windows 11 installations using Windows 7 and Windows 8 keys. It's crazy. You think back in 2015, Microsoft, when they released Windows 10, they announced the free upgrade offer would last for a year. Well, in 2016, when the time ran out, all that really happened was Microsoft said the upgrade has ended, and they've taken away the Get Windows 10 app off of computers running Windows 7 and Windows 8 that have not yet upgraded at the time. But what they did not say was that you could still activate Windows 10 with a Windows 7 key, or you could do a free in place upgrade from your Windows 7 to Windows 10. And it seemed that Microsoft was just going to quietly leave that door open. Well, here it is, 7 years later, in the fall of 2023, Microsoft has quietly closed the door and stated that they have closed, quote-unquote, a loophole allowing activation of Windows 10 and Windows 11 using old Windows product keys like Windows 7 and Windows 8. It's kind of a bummer. I mean, back in the good old days, I remember, of course, when you wanted to upgrade to a new edition of Windows, it wasn't free. Matter of fact, I remember buying a copy of Windows Vista OEM and installed Mid-Tower Lux back in 2008 or 2009. And then, later on, when I got Windows 7, luckily I was a student at my local community college who was enrolled in some Microsoft program. I forget what it's called now, but it was some kind of Microsoft program. I think it was Academic Alliance, where you could get a free copy of Windows 7 Professional, and that's how I got Windows 7 Pro back in the day. But of course, when Microsoft released Windows 8, they offered it at a really deep discount. It wasn't free, but they offered it at a deep discount. So you could get Windows 8 for dirt cheap. I ended up getting a couple copies of Windows 8. Well, Windows 8 and 8.1 through the same channel I got Windows 7 years ago. And of course, later on, Microsoft ended the Academic Alliance thing, so you can no longer get Windows 8 and Windows 7 for free. And then Windows 10 came along, and Microsoft shocked the world with the free upgrade offer. We thought it was great at the time. You could get Windows 10. You could, for a year, if you want to upgrade to Windows 10, you could get it for free. But then Microsoft quietly just left that door open. And it's going to cause two issues. For one, over the years, technicians have probably reused Windows 7 keys. They probably used like an index card and just wrote the key out and wrote it as Windows 10 Pro or Windows 10 Home when it was in fact a Windows 7 key. Well, sad to say, if someone ever attempted to activate Windows 10 or Windows 11 with that key, now it will fail. So you have to keep that in mind. And the other issue is now it's like for people who are still on Windows 7 who might all of a sudden decide to upgrade to Windows 10, or let's say, for example, I have a laptop here. It's over here. It's a gateway system with Windows 7. I don't think it was ever upgraded to Windows 10. So it used to be I'd be able to just do a clean installation of Windows 10, type in that Windows 7 key, and it would activate just fine. Now, Microsoft wants you to pony up, and you know what that means, right? Some people are probably just going to stick with Windows 7 or find a way to pirate Windows 10 or Windows 11. So it's like, in a way, I'm like, okay, why did Microsoft even go to the trouble? Well, they knew what was going on. People were using Windows 7 keys to activate fresh installs on new computers. That's partially what led to it, but here's my thing. Ever since Windows 8, Microsoft has really just preloaded lots of apps into the OS, and those apps sometimes have ads. When you install Windows 10, you get prompted about your advertising ID, blah blah blah. Same for Windows 11, I believe. So if Microsoft is going to monetize the OS, Okay, why are they going to charge for it now? Now, of course, I should note that over all these years, sites like Newegg and sites like that, software sellers, have been selling copies of Windows 10 and Windows 11 all this time, just like they did with Windows 7 and Windows Vista and Windows XP back in the day. But the thing is, though, that was a second issue. Is now it's going to be, if let's say somebody wanted to have Windows 10 on their Windows 7 computer, they could likely just keep running Windows 7, and it's like now Microsoft has killed off the slim chance of the person holding out Windows 7 from ever upgrading to Windows 10 or Windows 11. So it's almost like, okay, why did they do it? But then again, I just mentioned kind of why they did it. So I do want to cover some things about this, because I was reading on the internet just now, in forums, while people were speculating could be the case, blah blah blah. First and foremost, it does not only apply to new builds of Windows moving forward. So if you have a copy of Windows 10 1809 or a copy of Windows 10 22H2, doesn't matter. You try to activate it with a Windows 7 key, it's going to fail. So even if you have a copy of Windows 11 21H2, it will still fail. So the thing is, when you go to type in a key, so I tried this in fact on a system here that does not have a Windows 10 or Windows 11 digital license. Just for the heck of it, I tried two different Windows 7 keys on it, and both failed to activate. What it would do is you would type in the key, and of course it would run through its check of the key. That would succeed, and you would get the prompt to click activate. Well, that's where it would fail. You click activate, and you'd wait, and then to come back and say, it would say that this edition of Windows cannot be activated with the key you provide, or this key version you provide cannot activate this copy of Windows. So it is what it is. So just FYI, it's retroactive to any build of Windows 10. Probably 1507, for example. You could probably install 1507. It would still fail activation now. So it doesn't have to do with the build of Windows 10 and Windows 11 you currently have on hand. It's for the whole thing. Windows 10 1507, Windows 10 22H2, doesn't matter. Windows 11 21H2, Windows 11 22H2, doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it looks like Microsoft has completely killed off the ability to activate new copies of Windows 11 and Windows 10 with Windows 7 and Windows 8 keys. Now, the good news is, if you have already upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 10, and let's say you're doing a clean installation and your hardware has not significantly changed, particularly the motherboard. If your motherboard hasn't been changed and stuff like that, and you go to do a clean installation, you can of course click I don't have a product key, let it install, and it should activate just fine. Once you've had that digital license created, it's still valid. Like, for example, this whole stack of Optiplex 390s back here, each and every one of them, when I tested them, had Windows 10 on them, or at least they had Windows 10 on them, so they should be good. Hopefully when I go to refurbish those machines, they'll all work just fine. Won't have any issues with activation on them. For example, I got a Toshiba system over here that I'm doing a reinstall on, and actually went from Windows 10 to Windows 11 on the thing, even though of course it doesn't meet the elite class system requirements. It's my neighbor's computer. So put Windows 11 on it, and it activated just fine. It's almost like it heard me. It came to life as I was talking about it. So yes, Windows 11 activated just fine on that machine. No problem at all, because I already had a digital license. And the way it currently seems is that the digital license between Windows 10 and Windows 11 is like the same thing. I mean, Windows 11 really is more or less a prettied up version of Windows 10 in a way. So, hate to break the bad news, but yes, it is what it is. Microsoft has slammed the door shut on the ability to You use Windows 7 and Windows 8 keys to activate Windows 10, Windows 11. And you have to consider back in, let's say, for example, 2010, 2011, the years when I was reselling computers like mad. I can only dream of being able to activate, for example, Windows 7 using a Windows XP key. And I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if you could do such a thing? Well, that dream kind of came reality for 7 years. Just not with the same versions of Windows. I mean, you think about it. I mean, you could activate Windows 10 with Windows 7 keys. That's like something I could only dream of doing many years ago. Well, looks like it's back to reality of having to pony up money to the old Microsoft with a dollar sign in it instead of an S. So, it is what it is. Now, the good news is this currently is not affecting Windows 10 to Windows 11. So, if you have a computer running Windows 10 or if you have Windows 10 key, you should be able to activate Windows 11 just fine. So, anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video from Cuckoo Channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel and be sure to tick the bell so we get notified of new video posts. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, and share this video as well as the channel with your friends and get the word out. Also, I have a second channel, that's CubeComp MTDX. Over there you'll find videos about thunderstorms and weather, cycling, and videos about me personally. Feel free to subscribe over there as well if you like. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for your support.